You mentioned that you were a consultant for the movie Birds of Prey. You were the magic consultant. What does that job even consist of, or when you're on set, what exactly is it that they are asking you to take a look at and asking for your opinions on?
Okay, so in this case, there was this character played by this lovely actress Ella J. Blasco, and this character was her name was Cassandra Kane, and she's a little street thief, and basically, so that means she had nimble fingers, nimble hands, and so everything from teaching her how to roll a coin. There's a scene where she takes kind of Margot's business card and like kind of makes it disappear behind her hands like that. So teaching her how to do that, or sorry, Harley Quinn's business card. But and then also she does a lot of pickpocketing in the film. So a lot of that was teaching her how to pickpocket, how to be smooth. A lot of people don't realize this. Most of the top pickpockets in the world are children. They're not actually adults because they're at the right level to grab from the pockets. They have tinier fingers. Sadly, it's actually kind of depressing when you think about it. It's oftentimes kind of gangs of children run by adults, where the adults basically send the kids out to do the dirty deeds, and the kids come back and the adults collect the money and give a kid some food. It's not a pretty sight. It's not a happy thing to talk about. But that being said, they wanted a street thief, so I made one. I crafted one. So it involved, prior to the film even starting shooting, in early stages of production, me meeting with her a couple times a week to work on that, teaching her the moves. I told her parents, make sure you get good cases for your cell phones, because she's going to be going for them. And I actually want her not just to do it when you're expecting it. I want her to try to do it when you're not expecting it. So if the phone falls and breaks, I just don't want to be responsible for that. So get that otter box.
And so theoretically, you and other magicians are master pickpockets, and you could just do it if you wanted
to. I mean, theoretically, yeah, there's a lot I could do as a magician, which I choose not to do. There's a kind of an idea that a magician is an honest liar, because we have all the skills to lie, cheat, and deceive, but we use it to entertain. And it's kind of like people are like, I don't know if I can trust you, you're a magician. And I'm like, no, there's nothing more honest than a magician. I tell you I'm going to fool you, and I fool you.
Fair enough. This is true.
And I could use the powers for evil, but I don't. But yeah, so I was teaching her that. And then to give you an example, then on set, I was there on set every time she was doing kind of sleight of hand or pickpocketing, and just making sure that it looked right. To give you an example, there's a scene, not to spoil the movie, but where she goes and she pickpockets this kind of this diamond, from this dude. And this is like, let's say, a $25 million diamond or whatever it is. And then kind of a lot of the movie is based upon, we need to get this diamond back. And that's kind of a very moving plot point in the film. But as they had the guy walking down the street. She walks by, she bumps into him, steals a diamond, and scene. And they're filming that. And her pickpocketing move was perfect. She was reaching in perfectly. But then I'm like, I went up to the director, I'm like, Kathy, just think about it for a second. You're a criminal. You're walking around with a $25 million diamond in your pocket. A little girl on a big open New York City street bumps into, or Gotham City street, although I was actually shot in downtown Los Angeles, but whatever. A little girl just randomly runs into you, bumps into your pocket where there's a diamond, and then runs away when there's no reason for her to come anywhere near you. You're right away reaching into your pocket and seeing if the diamond's gone, And so I'm like, we need to fill the street with extras. We need to make it look like it's a busy street so that it would make sense for the girl to kind of, like, oh, I'm like, excuse me, like, move out of the way. Then she bumps and does the grab, And so that's like a small and minor. And then they're like, oh yeah, you're right. They filled the street with extras. And if you watch the film, now there's like a bunch of extras and it actually makes sense. And it's a small thing, but trust me, if that hadn't been done, Reddit would have been like, this guy's an idiot,
all over. Yeah. And that's cool. Those are the little minor details when it comes to movies and just TV shows that you would never even think about. When I saw that you consulted for the movie, I was like, I didn't even think that this was something that they would need to do. But after hearing your explanation, it obviously makes a lot more sense. Is that something that you're going to want to keep doing? What you want to be involved in movies and TV shows in that same type of consulting capacity?
Yeah, well, first of all, I wanted to say it is funny because you have all these brilliant people who are working on it. You have like about 100 people on the crew, all the camera guys, light guys, whatever, and they're shooting this, and nobody had the thought of like, hey, this doesn't make sense, And so it's a small thing to be there, but it changes a lot. So that's cool. And yeah, I've worked on other films, other productions, I've consulted for.